topic. We're going to be talking about a topic a lot of people are quite familiar with, and it's dissatisfaction, and how dissatisfaction can actually be a good thing. So we're gonna hear stories how to switch over from dissatisfaction into satisfaction, and Laurie's going to share with us a story how she had to actually refocus her own mindset on a better outcome to get there. So, Laurie, are you willing to share with us that story? How how your mindset changed from growing parts to growing together, because you have wonderful experience on that in terms of relationships, and I think this could be a help for many people right now.
Ready.
Yeah. Go girl.
Juliana and I talked about this topic for a while, and it's something that I've shared for a very long time, but I've never shared this story. There's only probably a couple of people in the whole world that know about this story. And talking through with Julianne, we decided it was probably the best thing that I could share from my heart with others today. And in relationships, I've always been working to improve, to grow, to learn everything around my business, career. I've had fabulous career life, fabulous business success, always lacking in the personal relationship area until about 20 years ago. And we'll get to that in a minute. I've had the most amazing relationship with my husband for the last 20 years. Taking you back a ways, in my younger life, I had a lot of abuse in life. I had 3 times I threw it of being with someone for a very long time. First one, my daughter's father was 3 years, and I said, no more, I'm going to be dead. It was highly abusive. I found myself pinned in the corner with off the floor by the throat. And I grabbed my daughter and I ran out the door with my handbag, and that was it. And said, life, this isn't life. I had left 2 times before that, and with the promise of working things out. And the 3rd time I said, I'm not going to be if I stay any longer, and my daughter is not going to live with this kind of abuse. And roll forward, it ended up in another relationship of being thrown across the room. Probably, I don't know if you can see how far away the board is back there, probably from here to there. It was he was a large man, he was in construction, super strong. One day threw me across the room and I landed on the stove in the kitchen, and my daughter was there. Again, grabbed my things, grabbed my daughter, grabbed my handbag, and left. I lived in Colorado at that time and went to the mountains to stay at a hotel and get my head together. And I decided that I was done. I had to leave that relationship, otherwise I would be dead or very severely injured in the future, and I didn't want my daughter in that. And so spent a long time single and raising my daughter into teen years, and I loved Colorado. That was my heaven, my piece of heaven on earth. And I had always wanted to go back there, but went back home a couple of days later and said, this clinched. I'm about 5'3", and he was over 6 foot tall, big guy. This clinched. Let him know, if you ever come near me, touch my daughter, harm me, say the wrong thing the wrong way ever again, you're dead. That's all it took. And he left me alone from then forward. And my plan was get back to Michigan, get back to my family, get my daughter back around my family. And that was what I focused on and did whatever I had to do to keep the relationship in a as calm as possible until I was able to get back, get myself into working again, started a career there and left with my daughter.
So, Laurie, let me ask you. I mean, you are a very strong character, and it shows also in your determination, like in your relationships. I guess you were very determined and a power woman, I guess. What did Why did it take you so long at that time? I mean, we're talking about long-term relationships. Why did it take you so long to break out or to break free?
Probably several reasons, Julianne. One is I was always raised with you do whatever it takes to make things work. And I needed to know I had done everything I could possibly do to make it right, to make the relationship right, to keep it going. When it became that physical, I knew if I stayed, I was going to either be harmed or something worse. And my daughter was also part of this, and
Yes.
she would be. And I did everything I could possibly do. I couldn't change the other person. There's nothing you can do to change the other person. They have to do that themselves.
Okay.
And the other thing was what you're focusing on. That's the biggest part of it. What are you focused on?
And you were obviously very much focused on growth, right? Your mind was
Completely.
like
I
growth
mean,
mode. And
absolutely. I went back and my life. I got my business and life and career going again as soon as I've never worried about will I be able to take care of myself. I've never had that. I've just never had that. And starting over so many times and got out to Colorado because of the major recession that was going on in Michigan. That was what ended up taking me out there. Sold everything, and the sign on the side of the road said, last out between, going from Michigan to Ohio, last one out, turn out the lights.
so, I mean,
so,
this is
so
a
I knew
perfect,
that I could restart my life again with no problem. I had that confidence.
and it's a perfect example that even though you were talking about times of recession and obviously circumstances and conditions external wise were not
Yeah,
optimum
yeah.
conditions, but where there's a will, there's a way, right?
And you don't look
And
back. If you're hanging on everything back here, you're never going to be able to go forward. If you keep bringing all that with you, you might as well just some some rocks to your legs and just keep piling on weight. You're never going to be able to take a step forward as long as you keep bringing all that with you. The thing I was doing that it took me a long time to work out, I knew that I didn't want, the first relationship, there was massive alcoholism. And I didn't understand that. I didn't understand the abuse that can come along with alcoholism. And there would be days that he would just disappear for days and not come home, and then come home and start a big old ruckus. I didn't understand. I didn't know those parts of things of life, and I just kept thinking, what am I doing wrong? Why doesn't he want to come home? What am I? I have meals cooked. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to do. Um, and not understanding that you can't change someone else. It's his paradigm. It's their paradigm. It's something they had in their life that created their life to be this way. And for whatever reason, I look back now, I had no feeling about it of any negative. Um, I have no, there's nothing negative that I feel about any of it. I wouldn't be who I am today. I would not be the person I
yeah,
am today. I would not have stories. I mean, I wouldn't suggest go do this to have a story. don't
No,
don't go
obviously
try it,
not.
you know?
But you are
Don't test
learning.
it.
It's part of the learning curve and learning and growth. Of course,
Learn and grow.
you are
Every step of
growing.
the way, learn and grow. And I would not be this strength that you talk about. You know, I would not be the strength that I am from inside out. I wouldn't understand. I would never have been seeking understanding about all of it. The piece, I went to Tony Robbins over and over and over. I read, I had all the tapes, you know, those the little cassette tapes at the time. Had all the tapes. Um, Brian Tracy, you name it. I had, you know, I don't think today you'll find a fiction book on my shelf, any of my library, maybe one, maybe. My whole life, I've always been about growth, personal growth, and improving to make a better me. And what does that take? Again, I applied it very well to my career, to my
Yes,
business and career life. The thing that I
you
was
are.
missing was, what was I focused on? And
Yeah,
you know, we always talk about this. What are you focused on? Are you focused on the negative, or are you focused on what you don't want, or are you focused on what you do want? And I remained absolutely focused on, I don't want to go there again, ever. How did I
okay.
do that? How I was just, oh, how on, that was the, what caused that to happen again? That is the last thing I wanted in my life again. To happen.
So you are
And
at
and it
you
happened
are
again, one more
okay.
time. Woke up
One more time.
twice with someone sitting on my chest with their hands around my neck. Three times it happened. Gone. I knew that
And
time if I stayed, I would not wake up the next time. So I've started my life over and over. So a lot of people, you know, when I talk about when we're going through a lot of these different talks, and you have to trust and believe in yourself that you can keep going. You have to know you can and you will. You've got to set that determination. You've got to set that you and your life are far more important than staying with that kind of abuse and that kind of behavior. You can take care of yourself. You may have to go through a period of time that it isn't exactly what you wanted. You have to, you know, you just have to
yeah,
go through it. You just have to do the next thing. And there is always the next better thing that will be in front of you if you keep that mindset and belief that life is better. This is not
yeah.
right.
Do you
There's
think
this,
do
yep,
you
go on.
think
Go ahead, Simon.
do you think, Laurie, that a lot of people, they don't give up on relationships or jobs or friendships because they feel like they're being a failure in a sense. They're giving up on something and they
Yes.
don't want to be seen as a failure from maybe the outside world.
Yes, yes. It's okay to walk away from things. It is absolutely okay. If you feel it doesn't matter what they think or anyone else thinks. It doesn't matter. If you are feeling intimidated, if you're feeling like there's an abuse of some sort coming at you,
Mm.
if you feel like, you know, you're not in harmony with that is the first thing. And this is something that Juliana is going to go in much deeper into the future. And I know, Simon, you as well, about laws of the universe and the vibration that you're in. I've always been a really high energy, high vibration, positive vibration. If you stay stuck over on that left side that we always talk about, this is always with me. If you stay on that left side, you're going to go into disintegration. There's no way around it. You have got to, no matter what you're going through, you have got to get yourself back over on this positive side. And these are the
Well,
things
Laurie, it is the principle, and it's a fundamental principle. It's
completely.
or living to live, living to die, adapt or die, or in relationships
Yes.
grow together or grow apart.
That's it.
Wherever you want to apply it to whatever kind of relationship, whether it is in business or a personal relationship or an intimate relationship, whatever. It is that principle, and this picture that you just showed, it makes it really crystal clear how the procedure is and how the path is.
And it
It's
all has to do with the paradigms that we always talk about, Jillian and Simon. It's what's going on in the subconscious, way down here. It's not what's going on in your conscious mind. It's what's going on in your subconscious mind. And those are things that have gone in. Those are the paradigms that have gone in. It's things from the external world that have gone in and you've emotionally internalized, and then they go into your subconscious. And that is what causes you to just the way you go about your day, the way you get up and do your set up your day right, your habits. Those are the habits you create, just like walking, just like learning to walk. If I do this little example, I have people stand up, take 3 steps forward, take 3 steps backward, sit down. You can do this later after we're done with our 30-minute mastermind. What did you have to think about in doing that? Standing up, take 3 steps, come back, sit down. The only thing you had to think about was 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, sit down. Everything is going on inside of you that you don't even think about it. I mean, we're on the phone, we're walking, we're talking, we're whatever. We're doing 50 different things at one time and not even thinking about it. We're just autopilot. We work on autopilot. So when you're in a relationship, that's what's going on in a relationship as well. Automatic pilot, automatic paradigms that you don't even know are there are happening, and this dance that goes on in a relationship. So what did I do? How did I get beyond all of that to a 20-year relationship that's just
you were so successful in business, and yet in your private personal life, you were craving something bigger and better, but yet not managed really
the balance?
attract
I was
to
looking,
attract those
yeah, the life balance.
people. And you were known for setting up dynamic teams in your
Completely.
corporate work, weren't you?
Hiring thousands of people in periods of time that there was 1% unemployment, growing massive corporate. Yeah. So, and traveling around the country doing it, setting up new sites around the country and helping other sites grow their sites. So yeah, I was known as the best there was in the industry in that part of it. So,
You still are.
well, thank you. I just do. I just keep moving forward. I don't stop, and I don't do any of that. I don't look for that. I do what I do because I love helping people, helping others. And that's the only thing that drives me. That I am up out of bed every morning. I could not wait for Friday. Every week, I cannot wait for Friday and thinking through the week, what are we gonna share so amazing this week?
And what did you do, Laurie, to move into a better, more positive relationship? How did you?
I had been through these different times. I had been collecting the things I knew I didn't want. So from the first relationship, I knew I didn't want any alcohol and smoking. I was not. These are my own personal things, okay? So it's up to anybody else what they do. I wanted someone who didn't drink and smoke. And I wasn't quite there with the rest of it. I knew that there were certain things I wanted. I also wanted someone who was reliable, who was okay to work, who was sustainable working, because that was missing a bit in the first one after a while. So I knew some of the things that I knew the things I didn't want, but I knew some of the things things I didn't want, but I knew what I did want. So I was applying some of that, but I was still missing the awareness of what might be causing abuse in a relationship. I wasn't aware of all of that. I didn't come from that kind of a family. Neither of my parents smoked or drank. The rest of the family, yeah, they're relatives on both sides, big family get-togethers. So I really didn't understand all of those things. So each time I was making a change, it was different kind of person that I was with that didn't have those things, but they had other things that I wasn't aware of. So finally, as I was doing all the recruiting and hiring, I had a matrix that I used. And I would sit down with the hiring managers. And this works for if you're hiring someone, that was why I said in the beginning, whether you're looking for a relationship personal, if you're looking, with a, community, if you're looking for hiring. So I started with the hiring side of things, that what is it the team needs? So we would sit down and get to know the manager, the manager of the place I was hiring, and we would talk through. I would get to know their personality. It's something that in my lifetime I've been gifted with, that I can kind of tune in with people a bit. And so I was putting people together that it was going to make a dynamic team. And I needed to know from them, what are your must-haves? What are absolute deal breakers? So what is your must-haves? Give me 5 must-haves for hiring someone for your team. Give me 5 deal breakers. These are absolute no-goes if this is someone that I'm interested in. And what would be nice to haves? What would be, if they don't have this, or if they don't have this, it's okay. But if they do, it would be really nice. It would be a really nice thing. So that was a hiring thing, hiring thousands of people. So I was going through this process, this matrix. And, I had a team that I had 4 assistants at one time, teaching everybody how to do this. I was training people how to do this. And so after the 3rd relationship deteriorated, I just threw myself into work and kept going again. And I finally sat down and I did that for myself. I do learn eventually. And so I had my list. I knew clearly these are the things that someone must have. And these are the things that are absolute deal breakers. If this shows up in this person, and I had ways of quizzing people. I was hiring people. I knew how to question people to get the right people to hire the right people. And so I used it for myself. And it was about a month later that I met my husband today, my now husband.
Brilliant.
Once, because you think in pictures, when you have that, when you sit down and you go through that process, it it imprints this picture in your mind, and you just know. You just know. And I met my husband on Match.com in the days that, going back almost 20 years now, internet was still Yahoo dial-up is what I had.
Mhm.
That's another story we'll tell another time because we've only got about 5 minutes left, I think.
Yeah.
But
So
it is what you are focusing on, and we create pictures in our mind, and that's what you were obviously seeing.
absolutely.
Um, you did not put maybe a specific person
No.
on that
No.
picture, but you felt sort of the things that you were going to be sharing with that person, the the life you would have together, right?
Yep. The
This
other
is
thing
what
I
you were
did,
seeing
Julianne,
and attracting.
yeah, the other thing I did that is just vividly clear was I was at that threshold of I didn't trust myself making decisions about relationships personal. And I was at that threshold of I'm just done. If someone comes into my life and they're interested in me and they have these things, then we'll talk. Then we'll talk about something more than a cup of coffee.
Yeah, I think that's important actually, to have deeper. It can't be just surface things. Oh, like what you like the same movies, or you both like to travel. It's got to be deeper things like I
You
don't
have
know, like
got to be okay.
political.
You have got to be okay to have those conversations. And it's okay to have them right up front. It is
Yeah,
I think
okay.
it is a lot. I think it is important to talk about morals and also values in a
Absolutely.
relationship up
yeah,
front. You know,
Can you
um,
can you see that? We'll put this in our 30-minute mastermind. This is our handout download for today.
yeah.
oh goody.
It's the top part of it you want to start with. That's your must-haves. And then I would go to deal breakers. I would complete those two first. And then I would do, that would be nice to have. And then down below, you can see there's this wheel. And you're going to take your must-haves, and only your must-haves are going down into this wheel. I always say 5, but if you have more, those are yours. If you have 10, there is nothing wrong with that.
Actually, the more the better, right? That gives a clearer picture, doesn't it?
Absolutely. And I will tell you, I know from it personally. I was in Colorado when I met my husband, who was living in Wales, UK.
Hmm.
And he's a statistics and data guy. And it was something like a bazillion to one chance that the two of us would have ever met face to face.
Awesome.
Yeah.
The universe.
He was over there on the other side of the ocean going through similar things and going through a similar period and he was looking for a business partner. We became business partners and life partners. And that's almost 20 years ago now, meeting on Match.com. My girlfriends were on
You
Match.com. What are you doing on Match.com on this online stuff? You don't know what might happen to you.
became.
They have never let me live that down. Never.
It creates dynamic duos.
It's a dynamic duo. Absolutely. We travel the world together. We're in business together. We're life partners, business partners. 20 years we've been traveling the world together and growing our business and helping people around the world.
And it shows that people should widen their circle and not just look at people at their local bar or who they work with or those kind of things.
Completely. We've talked about this travel thing and how it expands you, as a person, understanding people in other cultures. And yeah. And that's another one. Simon, that's the one that we're going to talk about again very soon, about your big dream and this travel part of it, and why that's so important.
I love to talk about, like, yeah, definitely travel and just interacting with different cultures and people around the world. I think that's super important for people.
Huge, huge, huge. I mean, look at you. You're up in the UK right now. Julian, you're from Germany. You're in Spain, a couple of islands over from us. I'm from America. I'm in Spain on a little island. I mean, it's incredible. It's incredible. And had I
And we're
not gone
champions of the world, essentially.
had I not gone through this journey of my life, had either of you not gone through your life journey, the universe would never have crossed our paths.
Right.
This would never have happened had we not each made the decisions and choices that we have. And we may not have liked the outcome of them when they happened, but it's made stronger and growth in our lives.
Absolutely. And I think it's always like the universe or whatever you might believe in,
Yeah.
the higher force, the collective consciousness, or whatever
Yeah,
force,
God in whatever way, yeah.
humanity, it will always reward you whenever you say yes to living to live
Yes.
and actually be kind to your own self again.
That's right. I had to be kind and gentle to myself because I am a driver. I drive myself, and I have the highest expectations of anyone of myself and what I'm doing and how I'm helping others and what I'm putting out to the world and the vibration and the help and you have got to be more gentle with yourself through these times if you are experiencing these. And I think we're about out of time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yeah.
We
We have so much more to share, so many more topics. We have an amazing guest coming next week.
Brilliant.
Yes.
We have Susan Blaskowski Randall of Thinking into Health, Be the CEO of Your Life. And she's going to share her story is it next week? Do I have the right date?
Yes.
Next week about her journey. She had over 20 different autoimmune deficiency diseases and was told there was nothing more could be done. That she had to retire from work. Her hair was falling out. And she overcame all of it. She's going to share her story next week on what she did and her mindset shifting as well through that. So
that's going to be a powerful story.
I'm looking forward to her.
It is. I know Susan well since I was in school. We were in school together. She's incredible. Amazing. And so are both of you. Thank you. Thank you for
sharing.
Thank you for sharing today. Thank you for both of you and your kind hearts helping carry me through today, talking through this, because I've never shared this with a couple of people. That's it.
We care about you.
Definitely.
I know. I would not have done it had I not known that and known you so well. Thank you. Love you.
Thank you.
See you next week.
See you next week, everybody.
Love you.
Bye.
Bye.